New York Rangers training camp is right around the corner now, and today we're going to be taking a look at the invite list and kind of breaking down and giving you guys a preview on this New York Rangers training camp for the 2023-2024 season. And man, I'm hyped up. Football has started already, and that means hockey is right around the corner. Let's get right into it here. Kind of taking a look at some of the guys here, all the players, the AHL guys, NHL guys, and prospects. And I did a more in-depth look at the prospects invited in yesterday's video, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already. I post daily New York Rangers content, so definitely subscribe if you are a Rangers fan. But carrying on here, I'll talk about here. We're going to go alphabetically from the B's down to whatever else the last letter is. And starting off here with Alex Belzil. This is going to be a solid player. He's going to make an impact on this Rangers team, I think. He's going to be kind of a depth / fourth line kind of guy. But definitely could have a decent chance at making that fourth line. I mean, he's going to be one of the guys battling for that, fourth line spot. So definitely it is possible we could see him a decent amount this year. Next up we have is Brett Berard, a prospect. He'll be in the AHL this year in a bottom six role, I'd imagine, but he's that scrappy kind of guy. And obviously, like I said, I did more of an in-depth look at the prospects in yesterday's video. So if you want to hear more about the prospects, definitely go check that out. Anton Blid, he's going to be a solid AHL kind of guy, good veteran guy to have down there. Not NHL kind of guy, but definitely could make a good impact down there in the AHL with the Hartford Wolfpack, who should have a pretty good team this year as well. Our fourth line center is Nick Bonino. This guy is going to make a good impact. He has won multiple Stanley Cups, has a ton of experience, and just overall a great fourth line, two-way centerman who can put up maybe 30, 35 points even. He's had a couple of years there on the fourth line / third line doing that stuff. So definitely we could see about 30 points out of him, which is, pretty good for a fourth line center while being a good faceoff guy as well. Johnny Brodzinski, he'll be fighting for a fourth line spot. Maybe he gets one, maybe he doesn't. We'll have to wait and see. But I think he's going to be one of the top call-ups as well this year. Him, Will Cooley, and Othman are probably going to be the top forward call-ups. If we need a centerman, he's definitely going to be one of the guys down there to be called up to help out in that bottom six role of the Rangers if we need another center. And next here we have is Philip Hedl. We know Philip. He's a great forward for this team and could be one of the guys who we could see take a big step forward and be at like a 60-point year this year. You never know. He signed a new contract, and I'm definitely excited to see what he can do. Next up here we have is Will Cooley, a very talented prospect, good two-way game, top on the team last year in goals and second on the team in points last year. Had a great year, great prospect, and will be on that first line, I'd imagine, down there in Hartford. Next up here we have is big 6'8" prospect Adam Edstrom, a very talented prospect. Came over last year for a couple games after his Swedish league finished, and he looked pretty solid. He's still a prospect, 6'8", could play any forward spot. It'll be interesting to see what he can do this year in a full season in North American Pro Hockey. Next up here we have is Trenur Ellison. Very decent player in the AHL. Not going to be an NHL kind of guy more than likely, but can be a solid, bottom six more than likely player in the AHL this year. Next up here we have is Barclay Goodrow. He'll be a really good fourth liner for this team. He can play left wing, center, right wing. Really can play pretty much any forward spot. We know how good Barclay is. A bit overpaid, but it's a pretty solid player overall. Still definitely not too bad. Next up here we have is Carl Henriksen, a very disappointing former second-round pick. Played pretty much on the fourth line last year. Didn't do the best. So we'll see what happens there. But more than likely in the bottom six again in the AHL. Maybe even goes down to the ECHL. We'll have to wait and see. Capo Kakko, obviously, we know him. He's a great player. Hopefully he can have a big breakout year. You never know. Next up we have is Ryder Korzak, a very offensively talented center prospect. Needs to work on his overall two-way game, but definitely got to keep an eye on. Offensive game is through the roof. He has such great skill, such great playmaking, scoring. He's a great overall offensive centerman, but he can work on that two-way game. He can definitely be something good one day. He'll be down there in the AHL. Next up here, Kreider. We know how good Kreider is. He's a great goal scorer, great veteran guy. Really solid winger, top 9 guy. Who knows? We might be on the third line, second, first line. You never know. We'll have to wait and see, but definitely a good player. Next up, Alexis Lafreniere. Again, we know how good he is. He's a great player. Hopefully he can have that big breakout year that we've been waiting for the past couple seasons. Then Jake Lesession. He's a solid player. Could be a call-up guy at some point this year. You never know, but more than likely will be just a good AHL kind of guy this year in a top 9 role, potentially. Bryce McConnell-Barker, another really good prospect, but he will more than likely be going back to the OHL. Sioux Greyhounds, a really good two-way center prospect, which his offensive game really broke out this year as well. Next up, Riley Nash. He'll be a potential call-up kind of guy as well. More than likely will start in the AHL, I think, but you never know. He could be a fourth liner or a depth guy or just a really solid AHL kind of guy. We'll have to wait and see. Brendan Othman, We know how good he is. He's arguably the top Rangers prospect. He will have a chance to make the team, but will more than likely start the year in the Hartford Wolfpack's top 6 and could potentially be on a line with a guy like Riley Nash or a guy like Will Cooley or Brzezinski. You never know. Artemi Panarin, he's obviously one of our top scorers. Elite offensively, the two-way game is definitely not quite there, but he's great, playmaker, good scorer, great offensive player. We know how good he is. Tyler Pitlick has a good chance of being on that fourth line there. You never know. He'll be fighting with guys like Riley Nash and Alex Belzil for that last fourth line spot, but he definitely will have a chance. Matt Rempe, a decent prospect, another 6'8" kind of guy, centerman, probably in that bottom 6 down there, probably on the fourth line maybe, or in the ECHL. We'll have to wait and see. A guy like Adam Sikora, he will be in that, probably bottom 6, third line kind of role maybe in the AHL. A great two-way winger. Definitely interested to see where he plays and how much ice time he can get, because hopefully he can get at least a third line role down there in Hartford. Bobby Trevigno had a bit of a disappointing year last year after being an undrafted free agent, and we'll see what he can do, but definitely I got to keep an eye on. Still pretty talented offensively, but is quite small. Vincent Trocheck, a good two-way centerman. We know how good he is as well. He'll probably be that second or third line center depending on where they put Hedel, but definitely a really important player to this team. Jimmy Vesey, solid depth, fourth line, third line here and there, maybe if injuries happen on this team, but definitely a decent depth kind of player. Blake Wheeler, going to be in that more than likely, I would imagine, top 6, maybe third line, I never know, but he's a great playmaker, still great even as he's getting up in age. I definitely am excited to see what he can do this year, being in line potentially with guys like Kreider and Lafreniere could be pretty good. Mika Zibanejad, he's our superstar center, two-way guy, kills penalties. I love Mika. He is absolutely amazing. Going to the defensive side of things here, Nicholas Briard, a solid depth AHL kind of guy. He'll be a solid D-man in the AHL this year. Good offensively. Definitely got to keep an eye on. Maybe gets a call up. You never know, but more than likely won't. Ty Emberson, solid prospect still, kind of. He's like 23, 24th kind of thing. Right-handed D-man, though, so definitely a solid depth right-handed D-man guy. Could be a call up at some point. Adam Fox, obviously a superstar. Eric Gustafsson, a solid, third pairing guy with Schneider or depth guy. He'll be that 6th or 7th D-man. Ben Harper, same thing. He'll be that 7th or 8th kind of D-man on this team. Mac Hollowell will be one of the more than likely top right-handed defenseman call-ups. He'll be a good AHL kind of guy, and definitely still only, like 25 or so, 24, so definitely still fairly young. Zach Jones, obviously we know how good he is, a great prospect. Could be on that third pairing with Braden Schneider. Ryan Lindgren, he's a great player. Obviously, we know how good he is. Connor Mackey, another depth AHL kind of guy. Keandre Miller, we know how he is. He's a great, top 4 D-man. Matthew Robertson, a good defense prospect, one of the better ones in this team. Will be a good AHLer this year again, like he's been for the past couple of years. Brandon Scanlon, another kind of same thing with Matthew Robertson, but a bit worse of a prospect overall, a bit older as well. So definitely just kind of a solid AHL kind of guy. Probably won't see the NHL anytime soon. Braden Schneider is going to be that third pairing guy on the Rangers. Trouba will more likely be in that top 4 on the Rangers as well. We know how good he is. Pretty solid player. Definitely overpaid, but still pretty solid. And the goalies here, Talon Boyko, a solid goalie prospect, massive 6'8", will more likely be in the ECHL. Louis Domingue will hopefully be either the backup in the AHL or a tandem role with the next guy here, Dylan Garand, who will more likely, like I said, be either that tandem guy with Louis Domingue in the AHL or will be that starter. I'd imagine he's a really great prospect and definitely by far the New York Rangers' top goalie prospect. Next up here, Olaf Lindbaum has been a very disappointing prospect, former second-round pick, and he's a guy who will be more likely in the ECHL alongside Talon Boyko. And then we have Jonathan Quick, the backup goalie for our superstar, potentially Vezina winning again, or MVP caliber guy, Igor Shesterkin. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this preview of the New York Rangers training camp for 2023-2024. Thanks for watching, and definitely subscribe for New York Rangers content every single day.